a very unique way to hit the shoulders to build Boulder shoulders and a big upper back on shoulder day, back day, whatever you want to do. I personally say shoulder day. This is a great one, and we all know the lateral raise, right? We all know the lateral raise, and I had a question in the gym today of why, when I was training somebody, are we going through this digression of the same motion, but we're doing only portions of it at a time, and then we're doing the whole motion. So let's get into it. What muscles are you hitting? What's up, you guys? When you do certain parts of the motion is really important to know, right? And if you don't know where they originate and where they attach and things of that nature, then that's fine. But know what you're hitting, right? So when we're doing a lateral raise, right? So that's coming up to the sides like this. From 0 to 180 degrees, what are we hitting? These first 15 degrees, supraspinatus. That's up through here, okay? And you have the upper traps right over there too. But supraspinatus, 0 to 15. So this is typically the easiest part. Well, if you can get here, even when you're tired, right? So you think we're just going to do these at first, common sense wise? Well, no, because we're going to be able to do that after we fail with the more difficult portions of the exercise, the more difficult portions of the range of motion, right? So what people typically do is they go up to here. And that's great. So what are you hitting after 15 degrees? Now middle deltoid fibers kick in, right? So the deltoid, bam, right, comes right here. All right, deltoid. Okay, what do you hit after this? Upper trapezius and serratus anterior actually will move you this way. From 90 degrees up all the way to 180 degrees. That's upper traps and that's serratus anterior, which sit here. They attach from the first 8 to 9 ribs and come in, attached to the medial border of the scapula, the shoulder blade. If I'm facing you like this, they're hitting the inside part of it, right? And so the way they're involved in moving the shoulder blade is this motion, okay? So abduction and how they protract the scapula, you're hitting them. So that's great to hit those. And usually you hit those in some other ways, you know, when you're doing a plank and you're squeezing and you can hit them, and when you're doing a lot of core stuff and you can hit them, right? But this is really great. So if this is the hardest part of the motion, what do you think we're going to do first? Well, we're going to do the hardest part of the motion, right? Again, we're not going to start with this, and we're not going to also just start with this. We're going to go here, we're going to get up here quick, come back, pause right here. So we're pausing not just at 90 degrees, just below, and that's even harder. When you're getting from, say, 80 to 90 and then above, this is the hardest part of the motion here. So what are you recruiting here? You are recruiting middle delt. You're not neglecting the delt the full time, because people say, oh, you're just doing traps and serratus anterior, you're sitting like this. Yeah, but you're also hitting the delts here even in the beginning, right? Because they are a major mover of this whole motion. So we're not going to neglect them even right off the bat in terms of isolating the most difficult portion of the movement. We'll still recruit them partially. And so we're here, and then boom. Upper trapezius, serratus anterior, middle deltoid. Upper trapezius and serratus anterior, middle, and so on, right? So you do this many times as you can. You're going to get to the point where you have that weight, and you get to here, and you can't really go back up. You'd have to squirm or so. We never do that. You don't sacrifice form for a rep to the point where it's controlling you, right? It's different if you use a little hip to get it up there, right? And we're going to talk about that in a second. But then you fail here. So then you come back down, and the next thing is you give a little hip to get down. Look at this. This isn't moving, right? And we did a whole video on this recently. But this is relatively advanced lifting. If you don't want to, risk it and try that, if you're new to lifting and this and that, and you don't know your body quite as well yet, and really what you're capable of, and feeling that neuromuscular connection and when you're okay and when you're not, then maybe don't try that part. You can skip that part, right? But I say next, do that. And what you're doing here is using speed to get you up past the most difficult part. You come all the way up, you come down real slow, real slow, real slow. So why did we go up with speed and come down slow? We went up with speed so that we could still get the eccentric contraction on the way down, which is going to build some hypertrophy or size of the muscle and is going to increase strength, right? So we can afford to do that slow because we got up here, right? And we're doing it slow because we've already done to failure as many as we could here, at least with good form, to failure. And so now we can at least get that eccentric movement we would not have been able to even get had we just sat here and went like this. Because guess what? They would probably get to maybe here, maybe there at the best. But they're not going to get all the way up. You just failed here, right? So, boom, you come all the way up, you come down slow. Maybe you'll have 2 of those, maybe you'll have 3 of those in you, right? So now you can't do any more of these. Now, only now, do you go where people typically start, and that is the straight lateral raise, okay? And you see how high you can get up, and if you're getting to just say here or so, you know, you can do 1 or 2 things, you can drop the weight, but if you want to keep the same weight, this is about keeping the same weight through the whole set and maximizing the set, making it just an incredibly effective set. You know, you can do 5 sets like this for the day as compared to somebody who does 30 sets on shoulder day, and you're going to get a better workout if they're sitting there just going through the motions doing jump reps, right? So here you are, and if you can't get quite up there to 90 degrees at this point, then little hip. Get to 90, come down, little hip. Now, if you don't have to use the hips, even better, right? If you don't need any momentum and you can just get up here, boom. You can just get up here, great. So now you fail there with hip motion, however you want to say it. We're done with the getting to 90. So now, what can we do? Well, we still have one portion of the lateral raise, and it's funny because somebody that doesn't know anything about working out, they'll look at the guy who's sitting here at the end of the set going, and they'll be like, oh, look at those shitty reps, you know, this guy's not doing anything. Well, you know what you are actually working your supraspinatus, right? Because that is what? 0 to 15 degrees. That's where that's kicking in. And I guarantee you'll be able to do a decent amount of reps here, and you probably won't need much of a kick. So here, you just, boom, much as you can, much as you can, much as you can. When you can't get up there again, this is the true finisher. You give a little hip, you get to here, and hold it. You hold it. So we're like deltoid, supraspinatus and deltoid, supraspinatus and deltoid. Still a little bit of deltoid. Okay, all supraspinatus, all supraspinatus, all supraspinatus, finish it, and then put the weight down with control, right? So that is just, you know, you look at a set, you look at a YouTube video, and they're like, oh, lateral raises, do this and that. If you want to turn yourself into a machine, that's how you work out. You maximize every set. We've done videos on just maximizing the set, but this is a really good exercise to talk about because, you know, I think it's an oft overlooked benefit of, you know, firstly, going from 90 to 180. Second, from utilizing a little hip while you're maintaining a strong core, strong low back, and good posture to get a few extra reps. Also could put a slight bend in the elbows. That's okay, right? You don't have to sit here going like this, but a slight bend at that point would be all right. And look, later, you can go and you can take lightweight and you can just do, you know, the simple up to 90s. You can take the lightweight at the end and you can have it here, just sit in the most difficult range. I love to do this, semicircles, right? Above and below 90, that's like incredibly miserable at the end, right? And then go the other way, that's just great stuff. But you're gonna go light when you're doing that because if you're going heavy and you're sitting here holding it like this, even if you were pretty fresh, it's gonna be tough. You know, the momentum of the lift is really helping a lot with the full range of motion. That's what we got for you guys. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it useful, and I hope that was a good explanation to you who we were training today, relatively new to training, you know, for how to really crush the shoulders with a set. Who do we got on here? Ash, what's up? Jimmy. Deli, how you doing? Meg. Hey, you got it. Ma, I love you. You guys are great. Sabia. Kennedy, how you doing? Love you, Ma. Marcos. Broken Youth, Papano. Meg, first one on. Appreciate you, baby. Hope you had a good trip. I hope you have a great trip and that it was a safe flight, right? I'll look at my phone. I'm sure it was because you're talking to me now. As for now, it's all we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing rest of your night. Happy Friday. Thank you very much. Happy When Wellness. See ya.